My name is David Wampler. I've been in Kerrville since 1994. My wife and I moved here in July of '94, having made the decision that we wanted to be in Kerrville. We moved here from the Dallas area. I grew up in Austin, spent 6 years in Dallas prior to being here in Kerrville. My wife's a physician. She's an obstetrician gynecologist, and she had finished her training and was thinking about, coming to the conclusion of her training, and we were thinking about where we wanted to be. And we basically chose to come to Kerrville and make our lives here, and have our kids and raise our family and so forth, and that's what we've done. So over the last 16 years, obviously her business has grown. We've had 2 kids. We have Blake, who's 13, and Ava, who's 9. And I'm a partner in Heritage Investment Management. We're an investment advisory and management shop. And so we handle investment advice and managing portfolios for local people and people around the state.
How's the campaign trail going?
The campaign trail really has been pretty light. I haven't been campaigning. I've been trying to focus more on, number one, my work and those responsibilities, and number 2, on trying to make myself informed and kind of reform opinions about business that's going on now in the city, and trying to just get up to speed. So I've been trying to use the time productively rather than, not to say that meeting people is not productive, but I haven't been in campaign mode. I've been trying to, to get up to speed on what's going on.
Do you feel like in any way you've already started the job? Have people already, are they looking to you?
A little bit. I think there's some expectation that once May 18th comes and goes, and then we're going to get down to business. I have had conversations with people about their expectations and things that they would like to see happen and so forth. But most of that has been kind of self-directed. I've been out asking questions rather than getting a lot of phone calls from people. Mm-hmm. I think I generally find folks to be respectful of my time, and I felt that before when I was on council, and so far it's been okay. But I do know that the work's really going to begin here next month.
Looking back at your previous run on council and what you foresee this next term to be, do you see a different Kerrville? Are the issues different?
I think there are certainly some issues that are different that come about, as I say, organically. But then a lot of the same things are very much the same. I think the need for continual updating and upgrading of our infrastructure, being productive of our water and wastewater systems, and particularly our water supply. Those sorts of things I think are going to be constants with us as a community, as a city. We dealt with those when I was on council before, and we're going to continue to work on those. I think probably of the infrastructure issues that we have facing us now, there seems to be more of an emphasis, and probably rightly so, on streets, and we need to take a look at that. New things have to do with the CCN issue that's still hanging out there. The convention center debate, what to do with the redevelopment of downtown and how that's going to play out. Those are all kind of more situational issues that have come about, over the last several months to a couple of years.
Do you see, how do you see yourself working with the current members of the city council? I don't think there's anybody there that you served with before, is there?
No, and my time with Councilman Gross kind of overlapped a little bit. He was on the way in as I was on the way out, and we did attend some meetings together as he was getting up to speed, but we didn't actually serve together. My style is to try to build consensus, to try to understand everybody's point of view, to try to find areas where we can cooperate for the best of Kerrville. I mean, I don't think it serves anybody well if we're up there and we constantly disagree and we can't come to conclusions about routine issues or the big issues that we just mentioned that are on us now. So I'm going to go in with an open mind with whomever's elected and do the best I can to try to work with them.
Given, I think most people know that you do have a full-time job, mm-hmm. and you're a dad and there are other responsibilities. How would you suggest the everyday resident, what kind of access they might have to you, or how they can reach you? What's your approach to
Well, my approach is, as I said earlier, I'm going to be as open as I can possibly be, but also mindful of my responsibilities, mm-hmm. because being on council, being mayor is a volunteer position. I mean, it's a civic responsibility that one chooses to follow, and then chooses to go out into the community and ask to be elected for that. And I do have those other responsibilities. I don't know exactly, if you're asking how am I going to structure my day, I don't have an answer. I understand that currently there's resources on the city staff for helping Mayor Bach with his time and with constituent questions and meetings and that sort of thing. So I might take a look at utilizing those for scheduling purposes. I will definitely be open and available to people to come talk to me about whatever it is that they're concerned about. And that will be first and foremost. How I do that and, kind of the schedule of my day or my week, I don't know. And some weeks I'm sure will be, busier than others. So.
Todd Bach said that he's not running for re-election because of his business, because of his work and family. Similarly, you would be the only member of the council serving with a full-time job and with a family at home. Do you think that do you think we need to have more family people on the council? Do you think there's something that needs to be restructured or changed in order to make that possible?
I don't know what you would restructure or change to make that possible. I think every person has to make their own decision about how they live their life. And to me, I think if you speak to people that know me well, my life's not really, I don't view it as a spectator sport. I like to get involved, and I have a very full and active life. I do a lot of things, have a lot of interest. And frankly, one of the reasons I like serving on council before and why I'm doing it is I like the process. I like the intellectual exercise of problem solving, of taking in a lot of facts and coming to a conclusion and trying to identify issues or problems and matching the resources up to those, working with staff, working with citizens. I enjoy that. And that's really not unlike what I do in my work. Certainly the matching up of resources with challenges. I mean, that's what I do every day. And really, I kind of view, I'm proud to have served before, and I'm proud that I'm getting another opportunity really to set an opportunity for or set an example for my kids, because I think civic involvement is important, particularly in a small town where, we all know each other and work together and maybe do business together. I think it's just a logical progression to get involved at some level. And so again, if another person in my situation wanted to make that decision and do that, I applaud them. But if someone wanted to wait until they were retired or had more time on their hands, that's fine too. I don't think there's a perfect paradigm for how you decide to serve.
What brought you back into city politics and government at this point?
I had a couple of conversations with Mayor Bach about his decision whether he was going to run again, and I think certainly I probably wouldn't have run against Todd. I don't have a real problem with anything that he's done as mayor. I think he's been a good mayor. He and I have had a lot of respect for each other, and he and I have had open conversations about the fact that he got elected kind of as the anti-me. I mean, he got elected in a time when we were having a pretty loud public debate about zoning and land use and development standards. And I think over time he's come to realize that things weren't exactly the way they were, that he thought they would be coming in. And we had a couple of conversations about moving forward, and I chose to run because I think lending my experience and the background that I have would be useful. And so it was really as easy as that. I did talk to my wife and my kids and my assistant and even some of my clients to try to come to a good decision. But at the end of the day, it's something that I'm looking forward to doing.
Are there any reservations, any hesitations?
Sure, there's always reservations and hesitations. I think the job's going to be difficult, and I certainly want to be mindful of all of my relationships and my friendships and my clients and my family and so forth. So yeah, I mean, when you wake up in the morning and realize that you've got the challenges that you do and the potential for upsetting certain people or groups of people with decisions that you're going to make, I wouldn't be human if I didn't say that's not something that's in my mind. And all I can say is I'll do the very best I can with the facts that I have.